the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is an AVNation special. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. We traveled to Crestron Masters 2019, hung out with their instructors, programmers, and designers in attendance. Today's episode, we talked with Rich Sasson from Crestron, asking him what he wished he knew 20 years ago when Crestron Masters started.
So 20 years ago, I think what I would like to have been able to do is understand how to better challenge the programmers every time we offered a Masters.
Okay.
And I think over time, we've gotten much better. There was a period of time where we focused too much on the sales side of it, and now we really are focused on ensuring the programming community is challenged. And we added in the MTA program last year and expanded it this year, and even that has become more challenging, which is very, very important. You know, my goal this year is to make sure that people walk out of here with their heads filled, if not to the point of bursting, preferably to the point where their minds are blown away. And I literally told my guys and gals, I said, your goal is to make everyone's head hurt when they leave, out of tons of information that's going to benefit them and make them better at what they do and make us better.
Yeah. I would say in the classes I've taken so far, those instructors have at least heeded you because my head hurts.
Good.
So last year was the first year for MTA.
Yes.
Explain to folks, first of all, you even said yesterday in your keynote, Crestron loves acronyms. So what does MTA stand for? But why start the program?
So in 2017 in the summer, Randy Klein was our CEO, and I were sitting at dinner one night, and he says, you know, you do this amazing event for all the programmers, but we really got to get to the sales and design community, because the designers and the programmers need to be on the same page. And I said, that's a great idea. So we created the Masters Technology Architect section of our event called MTA. And last year we invited about 125 or so people to join us. And this year we expanded that dramatically. We invited 300 people to come to the event. And the idea was, last year was the first time we did it, so it was kind of a gimme year. We kept it very basic to see what the interest was. This year we pushed it. We added 2 levels across all the disciplines so that you can take a design course at the intro level if you're not familiar enough with our product, and then follow it up more in depth. You can take it for unified communications, for user experience, for control system design, for digital media, for NVX, for streaming. So there is a fantastic offering of courses for the design community. The nice thing is the intention is that from a 101 to a 201 to a 301 to a 401 to a 501 level, as we've structured the coursework both vertically and horizontally, they tie into each other and overlap just slightly. So if I take a 101 course, I have the basics and understanding of what needs to go. I take the 201 course, I get deeper into the design concept and the reasons behind the designs. I take the 301 course, I understand how do I configure it to achieve what I designed before. Then I take it into the 401 course and I really get under the hood to understand what is the technology behind it. And then I go into the 501, what was the reasoning behind all that technology. And we really try to go really deep so that you really get the progression of the technology to make you comfortable with what's going on. So a programmer can take a 101 through a 501. A design engineer can take the 101 and 201 across all of the disciplines. Yeah. And they can mix and match however they want as a programmer to any course they want. MTA only takes the 101 and 201 levels.
Okay. Talk about for a second about your instructors. Obviously, you have Crestron instructors, and you know they're well accomplished, and they train folks all over the country and all over the world. But here at this event, you also have folks who aren't Crestron employees teaching your classes, right? You have diamond level programmers teaching classes. Why is that important?
So, you know, when we created this event, we initially just was continuing education.
Yeah.
And then we realized, you know, at a certain point, what do you get if you just keep coming back every year? So we began to add levels, and silver, gold, platinum. We got that far because, you know, that was pretty, who the heck thought we'd get that far and do this much for this long, which is fantastic. And then we realized, you said, you know, well, the industry has changed, the world has changed. And people used to come to us and say, I don't need to come back to continuing education. I got certified by Fred Bargetzi in 2001. I know everything I need to know. Okay, that's great. Fred's wonderful. We love Fred. But technology evolves. And if you don't come back and learn, you don't evolve.
Yeah.
So we realized that we needed to change the requirements. In 2015, we put a requirement in, you must come back for training once every 3 years or you lose your certification. No different than Cisco, no different than Microsoft, no different than most other companies who have certifications. Heck, if you want to be an educator, you have to come back and maintain a certain amount of credits every year. You know, whatever the industry is, it's a level that maintains. Well, we also acknowledge that if you get to the point where you're a diamond and you've been doing this for 12 years plus, okay, you're at a point where you know Crestron, you have a relationship with Crestron, so how do I challenge you not just to come and take an exam, but rather to really push you to the next level? And so we created the idea that the diamond level instructors who are our customers get to work with the design engineers directly to create the class. So now they truly become an expert in the technology, and what we used to do, which was really challenging to them, was you have to use it and learn a technology you've never used before.
Yeah.
So that changes the whole dynamic, because now I'm really forcing you to think outside the box. Change your paradigm as to what you do. We pulled back a little bit this year because, truthfully, there's so many things that these guys have done. It's a little bit harder to give them a brand new technology. But we've challenged each of them, whether it was Bernard Morgan or Tom McLaughlin, Gary Nagel, Ed Manna, who just became a diamond this year, who's going to be teaching for us in Madrid, Andrew Mossberg, Jim Panucci, all those guys. I think I got everybody. Oh, David Hatz. They did a fantastic job of putting together the classes and still taking courses here as well. So they don't just teach, they also get to take classes.
Yeah.
So it really pushes the paradigm for them, gives them the opportunity to be exposed to different types of technology and work directly with the design engineers, right, and the technology managers. So it changes the relationship. And after that level of commitment, plus Jim Pope, of course, you know, Jim is kind of the, he is the most consistent entity other than John Otteson throughout the entire master's program. Okay?
And that's saying something.
And that is saying something, because there are guys who've been here as often as Jim has, but they didn't push themselves to go beyond a certain level. They still come and they take the classes and they get educated. But Jim was the first diamond, and as he and John just gives him grief all the time because John says, the only reason you're the first diamond is because you asked for it. And Jim goes, that's because I kept track of my information better than you did, John, which was great. But, you know, they are kind of you know, John really is the guy who created the whole program back in 2000, all right? In 2001, he and I started working on this together. So it really is, John is the godfather of the master's program, which is why he still comes every year and teaches. But I am the logistics magician at this point to get it all put together and make it happen with people like Vanessa Penzone and Jason Molden and John Otteson and Tara Rice and Roman Pilzak and all the instructors. I mean, we have 100 Crestron people here to pull this off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for every one Crestron person, there's 9 customers. That's a hell of a ratio if you think about it, right? We really are trying to ensure they get the focus and attention they need, they get the information they need. We want them to be successful, whether they are first time here or 18th time here, and anything in between. We want them to get the level of knowledge that they need to grow their businesses and to think outside the box and change their paradigms, because that's really what we do. We constantly evolve and constantly change.
Yeah. You mentioned Madrid a second ago, and you guys have taken that over to the European market. Mm-hmm. Why was that important to have 2 separate but equal Crestron Masters programs?
You know, one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that our global market gets the same level of attention. And we understood that the cost to go from Europe to the US to do this event for our customers is too high. So for many years, for a few years, we took it all over Europe, just like we had masters here all over the US. That became a logistics nightmare, and it became a really poor experience because when you extended the masters over 6 months, you didn't get the same type of experience, right? Because what's brand new in January is already old news in June. So we set it down to one date in the US and one date in Europe, because it's important that people get exposure to the same content as close as possible.
Yeah.
Right? And this way, they're able to get the information they need to be successful in Europe and in the States. And you know what? If our market in Asia grows large enough, we may add a third one. But right now, it's Europe and the US.
All right. Where do you see Masters go in the next few years?
So next year, we actually are going to relocate.
Okay.
We are going to be going to Orlando. We will announce the dates at the event tomorrow, but since you're publishing this after, we're going to announce that we're moving to Orlando next year, and the year after will be Dallas, and then we'll begin to alternate between Orlando and Dallas. Why? Because we've got a lot of feedback from our customers that while they love this event, it's great, getting here is a bit of a challenge for them, and they would prefer to have something that's a little bit more convenient to get to. So we identified a great location in Orlando. It's about 20 minutes away from a Disney property, but people can bring their families. It's got a beautiful area, great convention center, nice space that'll accommodate us for a couple of years. And we also didn't want to be in Orlando the same year Infocom is there. So we're going to alternate. When Orlando has Infocom, we'll go to Dallas.
Okay.
When Infocom's in Vegas, we'll be in Orlando. This allows us some flexibility. It allows our customers different venues to go and see. So our goal for next year is a relocation, and our goal for next year is to increase the difficulty level in every course we offer, okay? And continue to go deeper and deeper in the technology so that our customers can be more successful. So I'm sure next year we'll have more on C#. We'll have more on HTML5, CSS style sheets. We'll have more on device drivers. We'll have more on unified communications. Of course, we'll have digital media. We'll have NVX and whatever fun technology we introduce between now and then will get added in as well. We'll expand the MTA program further to offer more courses for the designers and hopefully get more people to join that community as well. So we want the program to continue to grow and expand. And in Europe, we're going to be in Madrid this year. And if Madrid is a great location, we'll be there again next year.
All right, very good. Any last words or anything? If somebody has not been or has not been for a while and thinking about, what would you tell them?
Well, one, if they haven't been for more than 3 years, they better get here because they're going to lose their certification.
Yes.
But why come, right? This is not just about getting knowledge about Crestron. It's about getting industry knowledge. It's about networking. It's about working with your peers to understand what they're doing and what you're doing. You know, it's an interesting industry because all these integrators technically compete with each other. But yet they still go out and hang out and drink with each other. They help each other. They work together. A lot of them are on partnerships, such as PSNI, I believe it is, right?
Yeah.
For example, they do these global relationships. So here's an opportunity for them to network, to get to meet their peers, to learn about Crestron, and to learn not just the instructors, but the people who are actually creating the technology. And that's a pretty amazing thing, you know? It's not that an instructor is taking information and sharing it with you, which they are, but you actually in the 401 and 501 level courses, you're actually talking directly to the folks who designed the product.
Yeah.
Right? And why did they make the choices they made? And how can they make it differently? Or why would they make it differently? And they want your feedback. So one of the greatest things to do at a master's event is when people come, share your inputs, talk to design engineers. Hey, why did you think to do this? What was the choice made here? And explain, and so we can explain it, or maybe you give us a great idea and we come and run with it and give you a better product next year.
Yeah.
It's an interactive solution that really allows both Crestron and the community to work together to make something better for the end customer.
All right, very good. Rich Chassan from Crestron. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim. Pleasure.
For AVNation, you can find us at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. You'll find programs like this as well as a host of others, including our 2 weekly programs. AV Week happens every Monday. It looks at the news and happenings in the pro AV segment of the AV industry. And Resi Week looks at the residential market. All that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.